Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another stamping video. I am Sarah Simon and I am coming to you from Appleton, Wisconsin. Excited to stamp with you tonight and share some more new product. Looks like we've got a lot of people who have jumped on already. Melanie and Linda, Betty and Kelly and Nancy and Kay. I'm betting it's a lot warmer in Florida, Kay, than it is here in Appleton, Wisconsin. And Sarah and Julie and Lisa's on Facebook. So I'm so happy that you're here with me tonight. I have two new stamp sets. One's a bundle, one's a standalone stamp set, some new designer paper that I'm going to share with you. One of the cards comes from stuff from the new online exclusives, and the other from our new catalog. Speaking of that new catalog, I have everything ready to go in the mail tomorrow. For those of you that have been waiting, I kind of wanted to wait to see anyone who emailed me and said, yep, I need a catalog. So if you did not get a chance to email me last week and you do need a catalog, let me know because I'm stopping at the post office on my lunch break tomorrow and dropping them all off. I dread putting them in the United States Postal Service. Hello, Kathy Miller and Kay. Because guess what? I still have not received my swap cards that were mailed from a location that is about 45 minutes from my house and were mailed on January 6th. Yeah, I think they're lost in space or lost in somewhere, but I have to laugh about it because otherwise I'd cry. Because honestly, I would say I made a total of, for one of them, it was 40. For another one, it was 9. And for another one, it was 8. So there were a total of 57 cards that I made that I was getting back everybody else's cards so that I would have some samples. I would be able to post them on a display board for my customers to see all the fun stuff that's in the catalog. I could share them with you. And for all of the hours that I spent making those 57 cards, I got nothing to show for it right now. I have the 6 cards that I made, but I don't have any of the other samples. So Kathy Miller's working on getting me at least some pictures of them from one of the people that was in the swap and some of the groups that I was in. So God bless them for at least trying to get me something, right? So anyway, hopefully your catalogs will have better luck getting to you than my swaps had getting to me. So anyway, oh, Kathy said she got the pictures already. Oh, wonderful. I took 2 cards that I'm using for my card buffet. Because see, I end up using a lot of the card swaps. I end up using, Kathy and I use in our card buffet. And so Kathy picked out some of the cards that we had gotten in swaps that we did together. And we're like, okay, for the last ones, we'll wait on what I get in these swaps because that's why I make them. Well, then I didn't get them. So then I was trying to design cards so that in the last minute. So those of you who have been waiting for my email that has all of the information of our card buffet, we are close, right, Kathy? I think by maybe tonight, we'll be able to send that out. It's just a matter of getting all of our pictures together so that we can get the form out to you so that you can sign up for our card buffet, which isn't until January 31st. So there's several weeks, but oh my goodness. Um, Nancy said mailing her Christmas cards this year turned into a nightmare. I am so sorry to hear that. It's just, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyway, enough of that sad story. I am excited to share another product or an event that Stampin' Up! Is holding online that you can get your hands on and be part of as a customer. You don't have to be a demonstrator to be part of this event. So I'm going to share a little bit about that with you today as well. We do have a couple of things going on right now. So let me go ahead and pop these up here. Our bonus days continue until February 2nd. So anytime you place an order and it gets to $50, you earn a $5 coupon. I'm going to remind you that when you get that coupon, it's going to be a code. Make sure you save that. I do not get a copy of your coupon codes. And so if you lose it, you're not going to be able to get that $5 back. And the $5 can be redeemed from February 3rd until the 28th. So you have the month of February to go back and redeem those. We also have our product of the month, which is a fabulous stamp set called Fabulous Sayings. And it has really cool fonts, I should say, and greetings that are in there that you can use. And then the other thing, and I'm going to say, hold on to this one until I actually flip my camera around, and then I will share, or right before I flip my camera around, and I'll share that with you. But before I do that, I do have some cards that I received in the mail. Diane, I know that you sent this out before Christmas, and I got it yesterday. So there's our postal system for you. If anybody works for the postal system, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm a little frustrated right now. So this is a beautiful card. Look at that shimmer in there. So thank you very much. And I received this card from Tammy. She said, sorry it's late, but I've been sick with the flu. I know what that's like. She's starting to feel better, and she started getting sick on December 16th. So, oh my goodness, look at that beautiful card. And then when you open it, there was a nice little gift card in there for Starbucks. And I used it this morning. I used some of it this morning. I needed a little pick-me-up on my way to work this morning after religion last night. So anyway, last week we made this fun card with the woolly friends. And it's that it kind of flips over the top like that. It's so fun. And we also made this pop-out card like this that stands as an easel card. And you know what? We're going to use a technique tonight in the second card that I make that's kind of like this, where you have these little pieces that make something pop out. We're going to do that tonight with the card that we're making. So it'll be a different fold for you to use that same type of thing. Hello, Gianna. A lot of people have jumped on. Sherry says, I thought Australian Post was bad. Yeah, well, yeah, I can't say a whole lot of good things right now about the United States Postal System either, Sherry. Hello, Denise and Amy and Marge. Thank you for jumping on. And then a reminder that I do have the Creative Challenge for the month of January is going on. And it's this fun fold right here that we did 2 cards. So we've got the little bunny, and I've got this Always Here for You that opens up like this. And if you make a card using that fold, you can either email it to me and let me put that up here for you so that you have it. You can email it to me, and that's an LLC. Or you can post it on Facebook. I do have it in my featured posts. You should see a picture of those 2 cards with the dimensions, and that way you can get entered into a drawing to win $30 in Stampin' rewards. Oh, thanks, Mary. Yeah, last night we've been trying to get like, how do we get people excited about religion? Our religion classes, our faith development classes? How do we get families interested in coming back to church after COVID yet? And so we decided we were going to do some little fun videos. And so last night we asked just 2 of our little classrooms, not the whole grade, but just like 2 classrooms, a 1st grade classroom and a 3rd grade classroom. How do they know that Jesus loves them? And some of the answers they came up with were cute. So we put them on video and we posted something on our Facebook today, and it has gotten a lot of hits and a lot of likes already. So thanks for watching that. Yeah, we had fun doing that last night. So hello, Cheryl and Lori, welcome. Let's see. Do I have anything else I need to share with you before I flip? I'm going to put all these cards over here so they're out of my way a little bit. Okay, I don't think so. So let me share the graphic first. So maybe you have seen on our website something that is called a virtual card retreat. And maybe you looked at it and you saw, oh my goodness, $165 for a retreat. Where are we going, right? Well, no, it is virtual. It's online. You will stay at home. But with that, I'm going to show you the box and all the stuff that comes with it for that $165 because I looked at that too and I'm like, what? And so I had to order it to kind of see what was all in it so that I could share it with you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip my screen and I've got the box. So it does come in a separate box. So it doesn't come with your order. It's marked 2026 virtual card making retreat and in English. And so when you open it up, everything you need for the retreat is in here. So I'm going to pull it out of the box just because the box is a little bit bulky here on my table. And I'll show you what's inside. So inside is this little welcome, and it kind of tells you a little bit about it. And so January 22nd and 23rd, starting at, I believe it's 2 o'clock, it's from 2 o'clock until 9 o'clock Mountain Time. So that's from 3 until 10 o'clock our time in Central Time Zone. They will have live videos showing you how to put the cards together. You will be making 15 cards total in this retreat. Now, I know that I'm probably not going to be, I don't have time to sit there and do the retreat live. So I am probably going to watch everything on replay because you can just go ahead and scan this right here and you will be able to join a Facebook group that will get you into where you can find all of the videos to be able to go back and make the cards. Now you might be thinking, you know, some of our kits are phenomenal and some of them are like, if you're a more avid stamper, it might be, well, they're kind of basic for me. I like to do something a little bit fancier. I did print, and I don't know if I'm supposed to share this with you or not, but these are the cards. These are the 15 cards, and they are beautiful cards. They are not real basic cards, and they actually use one thing that I have been wanting to learn how to use because I've seen it on TV are these flip-flops that are used for scrapbooking, but people are using them on their cards. They're these little things. And what it is it has a little glue here that you can glue down. And then you kind of have like something that you can put on one side and something you can put on the other side. And they can flip it to be able to see things that are on both sides. So it gives it a little bit of motion without having to do a lot of like cutting and scoring and doing all of that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see how they use those. You do get, like I said, a bundle. So here's the bundle. It's called Forever Florals. Look at those fonts. Thinking of you always and forever. You're on my mind and in my heart. Flowers. Look at these beautiful labels. Love those. Look at this frame that you can die cut. Oh my goodness. I looked at this and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I got this. And then you also get this extra stamp set. I love this happy birthday. I think it's really cool. There's the congrats, the flowers, this little writing that looks like it's in a different language, some different flowers. That's a cool hello. So I loved the stamp sets. You do get a package of these Moody palette. These are in our catalog, so those aren't anything that's new. You have your 15 envelopes for your cards, so those are here. You get 2 of these little flip-flops. I think that's what they're called. And then, yeah, flip-flaps. Flip-flaps, not flip-flops. Sorry, I did call them flip-flops. They're flip-flaps. Gian, yeah, they are called flip-flaps, okay, because they flip back and forth and they're flaps. I call them flip-flops. They are flip-flaps. Sorry about that. It's easy because I use flip-flops a lot. I don't use flip-flaps a lot. All right, you get a whole pack of basic white cardstock in there. And then this sheet, and I don't know if you can see all the perforations, but we've got some hearts here, and we've got some banners, and we've got some die cuts of flowers that we can either stamp on or use. I'll have to wait and look and see what they do. But these are all cutouts, or they're all pre-scored or cut for you to just pop out. And then we have the paper, which the paper, is really cool. Now, normally our designer paper is two-sided. This is only one-sided because when you push it over, or turn it over, push it over, I can't talk tonight, it shows you exactly where to cut it for the cards that you're making, and then they tell you which cards. So this right here is for card number 3. This up to here is for card number 11, and then I must have all of this left that I could use on other cards if I want. Okay, same thing here. It shows me where to cut it in the back. So I'm going to have to cut it here, and I'm going to cut here's for card 8. These are for card 13. So it tells me exactly how to cut the paper for all of the cards, and then you still have some left over. And then at the end, instead of giving you card stock, this is kind of like our two-toned cardstock, and it's that weight as well. But instead of having one color on a full sheet and the lighter color on the back side of it, it has it half and half. Okay, so we've got a bunch of different, this looks like it's Calypso Coral. This looks like it's Petal Pink. This looks like it's Berry Burst. So you have all these different colors that are two-toned, but they are half and half rather than front and back. So you do have all of that as well. So I'm pretty pumped about this, and I'm pretty excited to see what this event is like. I know the people that did the virtual scrapbooking retreat, which was very similar to this. It was like, ooh, I got another, or did I just hook on the one that I had here? I think I just hooked on the one I had here. My flip flap. You guys can all start calling them flip flops now from me rather than flip flops. There it is. We'll put that back in there so I have it. Oh, Becky's at Wrestling Concessions. That doesn't sound like fun. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't sound like very much fun. But anyway, I suppose you get to see people and talk to people. So you get all of that, plus all the directions, the videos to make all 15 cards, plus those videos are good for quite a while. And you do get a PDF with all the dimensions and all of that kind of stuff. So this is for $165, but that's all of the stuff that you get. So I thought I would at least show that to you because even as a demonstrator, I kind of missed some of that. Things were busy around Christmas, right? We were all kind of busy. My camera's a little bit crooked. Here, we'll go like this. There. Now it's a little bit straight. All right, let me get my mat out here. So the first bundle that we're going to use in our first card is one of my favorites. And I was showing my mom this card today, and she goes, oh, can you make one of those in a birthday card? Because my aunt loves tulips and her birthday is coming up. And so I said, absolutely, I can. So this is the Sunshine and Tulips. Has this really big die, which I'll show you in person. And it has these other tulips that you can cut out. A couple of different types of leaf, and I'll explain those when I show you the dies. But when I saw this, I'm like, ugh, I love it, but that looks really time consuming. And it looks really like it would be, I don't know that I even need it, because I don't know that I want to take that much time to make a card. Well, I started to see people using them. Like, it's really not that time consuming. It's actually pretty easy and makes a pretty cool card pretty easily. And so I ended up getting it, and I finally, because my swaps didn't come and I had to start making things of my own, I decided I needed to get this out and play with it. I don't know why I'm so crooked here, but anyway. So let me show you where did I put them? I have so much stuff here to show you with all of the cards. Where did I put the dies? That's for the next one. Did I set it? Well, it couldn't have gone too far. I was just using it not too long ago. And I'm like, okay, I have to have this out so I can show them the bundle. This is for that. Let me just see if I covered it up with anything. I don't want to lose the bundle. This is for my next one. Let me see if it's over here. Wow, it's so hard because all of our stamp sets and stuff look the same now. The bundles do, I mean, the stamps do, and the dies. I don't know where I put it. I'll find it as soon as I get off of my live tonight. I don't see it over there. Darn. I really wanted to show you those dies. Let me see if it's over here by my die cutting machine. I do not see it. I don't know where else I went with it when I came home from work because they were sitting right here and they were ready for me to go. So I had to have picked it up with something that was on my desk. So anyway, I'm going to show you anyway how this works. So when you use that really big, yeah, somebody asked if I put it away with the card retreat. I don't think so. Oh, wait, maybe I did. Yep, I did. Oh, thank you, Gian. I did. I'm like, I know I'm not that disorganized. I know I had it out here. So here's this one. And, okay, there we go. Sunshine and tulips. I was starting to think I was losing my mind. All right, this is really bothering me. I don't know if I hit it or what, but it's kind of crooked. Doesn't want to straighten out. Okay, so we're going to be just a little bit off today. Lori said that was my first guess too. All right, so the dies. Let's take a look at those. So you have this big one right here. So if you take a 4 1/4 or 4 by 5 1/4 or 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, whatever you want, it fits both. And you set this down. What it does is it stitches around the outside. It cuts out all of those tulips. And then even these leaves you could pull up if you wanted to. Okay, we're going to stamp over those in green. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. Okay, so that's this big die. We have this fun little label that will cut out that. It will cut out that. You can stamp a flower, one of the tulips with the leaves in the center of it. So it's a fun die. Then we have these, and I have them separated right now. There's 3 of these, and there's 2 of those. This one right here does the outline of the leaf, and this does more of like a solid leaf if you cut them. I'm not using these in my card today. These cut a solid tulip. These cut the outline. So if you wanted to do a lighter color for the solid, and then you wanted to put something darker as kind of the outline, you could put that over the top of that. I didn't do that tonight either because this was going to be my easier of the 2 cards. And so I just wanted to do very simple with this first time. And we'll take it out another time and we'll play with it and we'll do a little bit more complicated with it. This is the center of your tulip. And then you've got the sides of your tulip. And then these are the leaves. And then you have this little set of tulips, and then all the rest are cool greetings. I love that. Thinking of you. I also like this good days ahead. I think if somebody's going through a difficult time and you want to send them something, kind of thinking of you, hoping you have good days ahead. I think that's it's a different saying, I should say, than other ones that we have. I'm going to set those over there in hopes that I don't lose them. All right, let's see here now. And all with all of the moving around, I'm not sure where my dimensions went to share with you. So, well, I know what the dimensions are, so I will share them with you, and hopefully I find them and I can get them to you. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4.25, and this is strawberry slush. I'm going to show you a couple of different colors because I made a different color this morning, and then I made this color after work today. All right, this is basic white, and I started out with 4 by 5.25, and I just put that die on there, and it cut around the outside. It did that little stitching and cut all those things out for me. I have another piece of 4 by 5.25 that's going to be my inside, and you could make a card where all of your tulips were exactly the same color. I'm going to do it so that this row is the same, and then this row is a different color, and then these, the first and the third are the same, and the second and the fourth are the same. I'm going to show you how you can put some color on the back so that you can change it up. If I wanted them all to be this color, I would just probably put this up on some dimensionals, or you could use some of our adhesive strips, and you could raise that up and have them all be that strawberry slush color. Like I said, I'm going to do it so that they change colors and have a couple of different colors. You can have in the catalog, they had one of the cards had 3 different colors. So this one right here had 3 different colors. So it was like a Daffodil Delight, a Calypso Coral, and that maybe looks like Berry Burst. And then they did Berry Burst here. And all of the Berry Burst ones, they did an outline with something that looks like it's maybe Pretty in Pink or something. And then they did their leaves in different colors. We're going to do them all the same, and we're doing that on white. All right. So the strips that I'm going to put on the back so I can make the different colors, I'm doing 2 of them. And these are 7/8 of an inch by 3 3/4. So I'm going to have 2 of them be that color. And then the other color that I picked was Flirty Flamingo. And so the other 2 are going to be Flirty Flamingo. Okay. And that's it. I cut out one of those labels in Strawberry Slush, and I cut one of them out in basic white. And I'll keep this out so that we can stamp our envelope. We're going to stamp this. We're going to stamp this, and we're going to stamp this. And I'm going to set all the colored stuff off to the side. And gosh darn, I don't know where the dimensions for this card are. I think if that box is throwing me off, I think I did, ooh, let's see. Oh, here they are. Look at that, right with that box again. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. 4 by 5.25, the front and the inside was that. And then the tulip strips were 7/8 of an inch by 3 3/4, and I did 2 of those in each color. I'll bring that back out when we have everything done. Okay. Now, you might think, oh, this is going to be really, really hard to line up those petals. I'm going to tell you, it really was not difficult. I was shocked because I was watching other demonstrators do videos, and they were like, it's really easy to line these up. And I'm like, yeah, you're saying that, but I bet it's not really when you go to do it, but it really is. So the one that has these 3 little lines in the center, that is our little leaves. And because you have, now this is going to be a little bit harder for me because I got to keep my head out of it so you don't, I'm going to stick my head in and you're going to see my hair and stuff. But I want to keep this close enough that I can see, but you can see where that thing, the stuff is cut out. And you're just going to press it down in there. Oh, that one was really bad. I got to take my time. It's hard because I'm looking at it kind of from the side now. There we go. You don't have to do those 2. If you want, you can for good practice, but you don't have to. I'm trying to look around my camera. Ooh, that one's getting further and further away. There we go. Got a little bit of green on there, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. All right, so that was super easy to do that. I'm going to set that aside. I don't have to do anything else with that. This is going to be my inside. Open this back up. And I'm going to stamp 1, 2, 3. I was trying to make those even, but I didn't do a very good job, but it's close enough. It's handmade. And I'm going to do one of these on the front of my envelope as well. Okay, then I'm going to take Flirty Flamingo. I didn't grab any of my stamp pads out. I didn't make this one yet because I made a different color. So this is the first time I'm making this one. So this is Flirty Flamingo. And I do the center of my tulip, which kind of looks funny until you do the side. Okay, so that's the center of that tulip. And then we'll close up our Flirty Flamingo. Did I do the envelope? Yep, I did. Okay. And we'll bring out our strawberry slush. And now I'm taking the part that looks like the little, I don't know, looks like a little, it's the tulip part, I guess, the outside part. And I just am lining up the bottom. Okay, so there's my little tulip with both colors. I'm going to do the same thing on my envelope. Get that. And then I'm going to do a couple of greetings. Now, the first greeting for the outside, I'm going to stamp up a little bit on here because I'm going to put a bow at the bottom. And it says, if friends were flowers, I'd pick you. Okay, and then on the inside, I'm going to sending a garden of love. Kathy Miller, I have your block. Look at that, CM. I have to get that to you. And all of our stamping is done. And now we're just going to put this card together. And you're going to see how quickly this really goes together. So put this away. We'll put that away. Get that out of our way. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to take some mini dimensionals because I want the paper that's underneath to not be right next to the tulip. I want it to be raised up. So I'm using dimensionals. That one, the backing came off already. And I'm just going to throw dimensionals on all the sides, in between and on the ends of all of the tulip areas. And let's see here, I got a couple more. Make sure that's in there. Am I missing? Oh, thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I did. I'll show you the other colors that I did with it. I thought I'm going to play around with a couple of different colors and see what I like best. This one I really liked a lot. The other one has two very different colors. So I'll show you and you can decide which one you like. All right, so this is Strawberry Slush is going to be my first one. And I'm going to kind of make sure that I'm covering the tulips completely. Okay, and then I'm going to pull the next one off. Ooh, that one came pretty close. I didn't do a very straight job. It's not a very straight piece of paper, but nobody sees the back anyway, as long as it's not hanging off the end. You can try to do it from here. I found when I was doing it that I liked doing it from the front so I could make sure I had everything covered, but that looks just as easy for that way. I'll do it that way. I think I had cut mine at 3/4 of an inch and I decided 7/8 was easier to make sure that it stayed within the area of the tulip flower. And then we'll take off the last ones. Now, if you wanted everyone to be a different color, you could just make squares and put squares, or if you had like a really small, like 3/4 inch circle punch, you could do circles. That's not going to bother me. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so look at how fun that looks with those colors. Yay! All right, now I'm going to take some more dimensionals. And I'm almost to the end here, so let's go ahead and cut some of these. And I'll put some on the end there and there. I really did make this one go crooked, but we'll put the dimensional underneath it for now. It's a little bit closer on top because your tulips are on the top and here your leaves are on the bottom. Yep, for a variety of colors, you could use a circle punch. I've seen somebody use a circle punch. I've seen people use a square and they just cut them all into squares. But for me, a punch would be easier to be able to punch all of them out instead of having to cut all those squares. And I would probably use the same thing that I did with the dimensionals. I like how it is, the different color is raised from this white sheet rather than being flush to the white layer that has the cutouts. Okay, so we're going to go here and we're going to go here. Just want to make sure I have something in the middle so it doesn't flop when it goes through the mail. All right, and then we will set that on the front of our card. Oh, look at how easy that is. Let's go ahead and put this on the inside. All right, I am going to get a bone folder out here and just crease that a little bit. All right, then I'm going to take this label and I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the top and the bottom. And what's nice is that these layers have little stitching. Can you see that little stitching? Does it? And so what I did was I just went and I did like 2 little stitches down on either side. And that way I could keep it even on both ends. So I did 2 stitches down on that side and 2 little stitching holes down on this side. And then we'll go ahead and I did pop that up on dimensionals. Couldn't remember if I did or not. All right. One, 2, 3, 4. Put that in there. So easy, right? And then we have some strawberry slush ribbon, which we'll tie in a bow. And, whoops, that's not a ribbon, scissors. That one is. That one is. Put the ribbon one away. I'm going to keep this because I need to use these to cut paper next. That way I know it's not a ribbon one. And we'll take our glue dot and this space that I left open at the bottom will be where we can put that little bow in there. All right. And if you wanted to, I do have, these are the strawberry slush, those flat, I think they're just called flat pearls. Yeah. We do have them in strawberry slush. And so if you wanted to add just a little bit of bling, you could put like maybe one up there, and you could put one over here. And then I think I stuck one just kind of down here. Don't have to put that in there, but if you wanted to add just a little bit of bling, there you go. Thanks, Marcia. Yeah, so it was really, really easy. Like I said, when I looked at it in the catalog, I'm like, oh, that looks like a lot of work. Now, if you wanted to, you could do like a layer of the Flirty Flamingo, and you could cut out those detailed parts of the tulip, and you could put those on in the strawberry slush. That would require just a little bit more work to do something like that. So I kind of chose the easiest way to work with this one. The color that I did this morning is Darling Duckling, along with some fresh freesia. And then again, that's Granny Apple Green. And then when you open it up, it has a couple of different colors of tulips along the bottom as well. So which one do you like better? Do you like the strawberry slush, or do you like the daffodil with the fresh freesia, the yellow and purple? I couldn't decide which one I liked. Yeah, the leave stamped is so much easier than having to cut all of those and glue all of those. And they really do like stamp in there super, super easy. I was shocked how easy it was to just stamp them. Okay, daffodil. This is actually what did I say? Daffodil. It's Darling Duckling. It actually is. And you know what? I just realized I put my Darling Duckling sticker on my stamp pad upside down, because the pad is the right way, and I'm looking at it and I'm reading it and it's upside down. So we'll go ahead and we'll flip this so that I can actually read that it says Darling Duckling. No wonder I'm always grabbing the wrong thing. But yeah, it's very close to Daffodil Delight. So we've got a couple of different options there. I'm thinking you could change the type of label that's in there. I love greetings that go vertical, that are portrait rather than landscape, because it's so unique, because so many of ours are landscape, that when I do get one that is portrait, I love using those. So there is the first one. Let's see. I like them both. They're both beautiful, very spring-like. Both are beautiful. Too hard to choose. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys feel that way. And we've got one daffodil. Love the purple and yellow one. So Amy likes the purple and yellow too. Yeah, that was the first one that I did. I'm like, I want to do something a little bit different. I've seen a lot of reds and pinks, and I've seen a lot of people make this into a Valentine card. And I'm like, I'm going to keep it a little bit different with some different colors. And I wanted to look at some colors that we didn't have a lot of in our card buffet. And we didn't have a lot of these colors. And so I ended up choosing this combination for our card buffet. And then this one was just kind of like well, let's do something different. All right, so that is our card number one. And again, here are the dimensions that you will need. So the card base it's very simple. The front and the inside were 4 by 5 1/4, and then this is just cut out of that really big die. And then you just have the 4 strips to put behind it, and then you just have to cut out those labels in whatever colors you want. So that is card number one with our tulips and sunshine and tulips. Get it in the right order. All right, so I will go ahead and let's set this back here. We'll set the cards over here. I'll bring this back in for our next card. And our next card is going to be using products from our online exclusives. So there's only one bundle in here, and I've used that a couple of times. And it is probably one of my favorite things that's new. Yeah, the purple and the yellow does kind of scream Easter. You could get some sort of an Easter saying, and you could put an Easter saying in there about like he's risen or something like that too. This Lovely Blossom Suite is probably my favorite of anything that's in the catalog. If I'm going to be honest with you, I love these flowers. I love the paper. I love the fact that there's only 4 sheets, so you end up getting 3 of each one instead of 2. These Moody Palette glossy dots are my favorite. This embossing folder with the stripes is awesome. Not a huge fan of the cloud cover ribbon, only because it's so big. It is like, I want to say it's about a half an inch or 5/8 of an inch, which to me, that would be like kind of a border, but you couldn't really tie a bow or a knot without having to add a lot of extra postage. These are our bundles. But then if you go to the very last page, we have this stamp set that's called A Round of Hellos, which interests me. We had a stamp set a few years ago that was similar to this, and I loved it. And then, oh yeah, Becky, ombre would look really, really good on that too, to have, even if you found some designer paper that had that automatically in, so you could put it behind it and you didn't even have to cut all of those out. That was a really good idea. And then this Splash of Sparkle. I've used this Splash of Sparkle once before on a card, but I thought I'd bring it out and use some different colors in it instead of the same colors that I used in the last one. And so these 2 parts of the online exclusive are what I'm using in the next card. So our stamp set, again, is A Round of Hellos. And there's so many different things that can kind of be done in circles. We're going to use this circle stamp that says hello. We're going to use this flower and the leaves. Actually, no, we're going to use this flower, the bottom and the top, and then we're going to use the leaves. There's this little half of a circle here. Oh, happy day. I love. You're amazing in every way is a cool statement. Have a beautiful day. There's some really cool greetings in here that are in some different size circles that you could use circle punches, or you could use the stylish shapes circles, or the Spotlight on Beauty. Is it Spotlight? Spotlight on Nature. Those circle dies. So I'm also going to be using one greeting from here. I took the Just Because out of here to use for the inside of my card. All right, let's see here. Here are dimensions for our fun fold. Since our last one wasn't a fun fold, I thought this one should be, and it is very similar. Let me show you this card that I made. This is the card, like if you go to our online exclusive store and you put this Round of Hellos, A Round of Hellos in, and you look at the cards that they have made there, this is one of the cards, kind of. It's Lemon Lolly. I added the Timid Tiger layer. They did not have that, but everything else is exactly like it is in that card. So it has this designer paper. It had these 2 half circles that were stamped in Bubble Bath and Lemon Lolly, and it had this flower and Timid Tiger and Lemon Lolly. This is Shy Shamrock, and then this greeting with a little bit of Bubble Bath behind it. So this was one that was right online. So I took this and I sent this to Kathy this morning. I'm like, how about this card? And then when I got home, I'm like, you know what? I need a fun fold. And I had seen these diamond pillar cards, and it was kind of similar to the card that we did like this, where it has this little mechanism that we added on the back, this folding piece, in order to make this pop up and then this folded. So that's really what the diamond pillar is like. So I decided to change up my card a little bit when I got home tonight. And let me show you these papers quick before we jump to the card. I've got them sitting here. So one side of the paper. So I wonder what this would look like. I bet these are too far apart for that tulip. They're too thick, I bet. But we've got these papers that end up having gold and watercolors in them. Remember this one we used a couple of weeks ago on a card? This one I think it just screams teenage girl with all that holographic in there. And then the back is different watercolor type papers. This one I saw I think it might have been Shelly that did some sort of a card where she cut these 3 pieces out and put them on a card, which was interesting because I'm like, oh, what would you do with that? And so I did see somebody cut around those and use them as a focal point on a card. And then we've got like all these different watercolor things. So that is the paper. And that again is an online exclusive. All right. So our card base for this one's going to be Timid Tiger. And it is 4 1/4 by 11. And I scored it at 1.5, 3.5, 5.5 is in the middle, and then 7.5 and 9.5. Now, if you want to, if you don't want to have to take the little arm out on your trimmer, if you're scoring it on a trimmer, you could just go 1.5, 3.5, 5.5, and then do 1.5 and 3.5 on the other side. It's the same thing. Okay, so this is going to be the base of our card. And then I wanted a matte for our designer series paper. So I used Bubble Bath for mine. And so I have 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. And I have 1 piece that's 1 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, so these are going to be the mattes for the designer paper that I have. I have 2 neutral bases or pieces that will be what I do my writing on. So this card is not gonna open like this and have an inside. We're actually gonna be closing it shut, and it's gonna have some panels on the back, which is where we're gonna write our message. So there are 2 of these, and these measure 1 3/4 by 4 inches. Okay, just like we had those little pull-up tabs on that Hope card that I showed you, we have the same thing for this card. Let me find they're way on the bottom. And these measure 1 by 1, and they're scored at 1/2 inch. So they're really tiny little tabs like that, like we used last time. Okay, so these are 1 by 1, and they're scored at 1/2. I did 1 by 2, and I scored it at 1/2, and then I cut the 2 in half so that I didn't have to try to get those little squares in there twice. All right, so that's that. I did cut out, this is the second from the largest stylish shaped circle, and then the designer paper. So I used 2 different patterns. So one of the patterns, I think it goes like this if they keep them together. These are 1 3/4 by 4. These 2 are. And then I did, one's going to be for the back and one's going to be for the front. This is from that same paper. This is 1 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, so I've got 1 1/4 by 4 and 1 3/4 by 4 for the designer paper. And then I have a scrap that we're going to be doing some stamping on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, and I'll bring it back later. And I'm going to set, I need 1 of these. I don't need that. I do need this. I do need this. I need 1 of these, and I'll do the envelope, and I need my scrap. Okay, I'll set all of this stuff aside. Okay. I've got my stamps. Oops, I just need 1. Okay, we're going to start. Let's start with this one and make sure that we can get this on here. I did it, and it was super, super easy. And let's just hope with a camera it's as easy. I never know when I'm going to be going live if it's going to be as easy as it was when I wasn't live. So I'm going to actually stand up so I can get over the top of this. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of colored cardstock underneath it so I can see my circle a little bit better. So I like my foam still, but I like to have some color so that my white just pops and I can see where I am on that circle. I moved it a little bit to the right, but I think it's still going to be okay. All right, so that's going to be our circle. On this piece, I'm just going to stamp this flower kind of in the lower right corner. Ooh, a Timid Tiger has something in it. Let's go ahead. Let's flip this over. Let me go on a different side of my Timid Tiger. Let me wash this though first. I think the last time I had a stamp my card buffet, I think it was my actual Stamp-A-Stack. I think somebody did get something in the Timid Tiger. I thought I got it out, but I obviously didn't do a very good job. There we go. I'll have to work on that later. So I'm going to do Timid Tiger and I'm going to do Bubble Bath on top. Okay, so that's that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my envelope. Rather than using paper, designer paper, I'm just going to stamp one of these flowers. So I'm going to start with the Shy Shamrock. I'm going to stamp that. And then we've got our Timid Tiger. Just going to go there. And then our Bubble Bath. Go right on top. So that's going to be the envelope, the outside of my envelope. On my scrap, I am going to need one of those stamped. And we're going to stamp that and the Bubble Bath. And on this piece right here in the Timid Tiger, I'm going to stamp just because, ooh, that doesn't fit there. I thought it did. I didn't stamp it on mine. I left it blank. You can see I left mine blank. But I was like, oh, I should put something on the back. I guess that doesn't fit. I guess we're not going to use that. Psych. We'll just leave it blank until we know what we need it for. So let me put all of these back in here. And I'll throw these back in their slots. All right, we have to, sorry, I'm standing right in the spot where my camera is. I'll go ahead and sit back down again. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut out this flower. And again, I like to leave just a little bit of a white edge. My left hand is guiding where my paper is going, and my scissors is just kind of staying in place. I'm just closing it up, but my left hand guides it to where I want it. So there's that, and then we're going to cut this out as well. Sonia, thank you for sharing. I've seen so many different cards with this and so many different, because it doesn't belong to a suite of products, I've seen people do it in bright yellow with the Oh Happy Day and with that the bigger flower. I've seen a lot of different things with it, and I just thought they're really cute. So I figured I had to break this out and try it because I had it. All right, so we didn't stamp anything on there. I've got my two pieces here. Let's go ahead and start putting this together. So the biggest thing is you want to take and fold it in half at the 5.5 so that your Card is folded back completely. Then if you open it up, on each of the 2 score lines that are right from the center, you're going to fold those into the center. Okay, so I'm going to fold that one in, and I'm going to fold that one in. Okay, the last 2, we're going to fold the opposite direction. I'm going to fold those out. Okay, so I'm going to fold this in, and I'm going to fold that out. Okay, these are going to be glued together like this to give us our diamond. See how that's a diamond on top? And so this card will stand up, and this circle is going to pop out. The greeting is going to pop out when it stands up, but then it's going to lay flat to ship. Isn't that cool? Oh, thanks, Nancy. Yeah, I love to fussy cut. I don't mind it at all. So let's go ahead and put the things on here that we have to put on here. Actually, you can go ahead and we can go ahead and close this right away. So I'm going to go ahead and put some seal on here. If you wanted to, you could use some tear and tape, liquid glue. Basically just want that to lay flat. It's going to go on your card like that. And there's our little diamond pillar. Okay, and then I'm going to layer, here are my 2 bigger pieces. This pattern is going to go on there. So we'll go ahead and layer this. And then we'll layer this one. And then one of these is going to get layered and the other one is not. Okay, and this piece right here is going to be this little section right there. Ooh, I did not cut that right. Or this is cut wrong. Let me just double check this, because it'll be easy for me to cut it yet. Where's my paper trimmer? I think this ended up getting to be more than 4 1/4 is what happened. So let me just make sure this is 4 1/4, and I can cut it all at once. There's 4 1/4. Yep, it's just, see how it's just a little bit longer than 4 1/4. I must have cut 4 inches off or something, and I thought that was 4 1/4. But there we are, 4 1/4. Whew, good thing I caught it now. All right, so where's that piece now? Are you guys laughing at me? Anyone see where it went? Did it go on the floor? I don't see it on the floor. If I have to, I'll make another one. This is not the one that's layered. I need the one that's layered. It had glue on it. Oh, here it is. Stuck to my... There we go. That fits better. Under my cutter. Thanks, Cindy. I found it. Where can I download the online products? So, Lori, I don't, this is on my demonstrator website. I can post this document, this PDF. How about if I post it on my Facebook page? That way, if you wanted to download it, you could, because we can't share it with you. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold these. And again, I'm going to butt up. Here's my scored line. I'm going to butt that right up to that scored line and about the center. Same thing here. Here's my scored line that goes up to the center to make my little mechanism to put my circle on. Okay, now I can cover this up with this designer paper. So because your circle is big enough and it's going to cover that anyway, you really wouldn't have to, I guess, put that on first. Anytime I've made this type of a pop-up card, I've always done it that way. Okay, our circle is going to go right on here. Before we do that, we could go ahead and pop this up on some dimensionals. I don't know where my bigger ones went, but you know, that's kind of how today is gone. So we'll just make do with what we have here with the little ones. And we'll put that right along the bottom here. See how perfectly that fits in that little circle? And then this I'm just going to take with my fingers, and I just kind of curled it. You can either do it with your fingers. If you want to take your bone folder, you could take it with your bone folder just to give it a little bit of 3D motion going on. And I'm going to put a dimensional at the top here. Put that flower there. Isn't that cute? I loved that. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to these two little strips. And I'm going to put that circle right in the center. So now when it pops up like that and sits up, it's right there. Oh. Okay, on the back, I'm going to have my two panels for writing. And you could put a greeting on one of them if you wanted to. It just has to be a really skinny greeting. I thought that just because it was going to fit in there, but it didn't. I got the little flower in one of the corners. And then I thought it would be fun to bring that designer paper to the back part where the greeting is as well. So I did cut a strip of that as well for the back. And then we have this bubble bath. I love really skinny ribbon. And this is like, I want to say this is like a quarter of an inch thick, maybe. It's 1/8 of an inch. There we go. It's really tiny. And I'm just going to tie a bow with this, because even with a bow, because the ribbon is so tiny, it's almost like having baker's twine on, where it doesn't add a lot of bulk to your card. So we'll tie this ribbon and trim it off with my ribbon. And we'll get a glue dot. We'll pop that right in here to bring some of that pink color in that we bordered it with. And then we do have, these are Timid Tigers. So these are the same gems that I use the strawberry slush. I can go ahead and use the Timid Tiger, and we can just place a couple of these. Let's see. We could go here. We could come down here and take one of these big ones. Come on. There we go. Go there. All right. So there is our diamond pillar. For those that like names of cards, this is what's called the diamond pillar. And there's a couple of different ways that you can make this. I saw Susan Campfield, I think it was, who made it so that it had like it had a little thing here and it had a little thing here, and the diamond in the center was a little bit smaller. So the diamond was in the center, and you took 2 pieces of paper and you connected them. But yeah, this I thought was kind of a fun. It's a different fold. Kind of relates a little bit to the one that we did last week in how it has this little mechanism to stand it up. So there are our dimensions if you need them for that card. We can try to straighten them a little bit. I will bring our other, hopefully I had a chance to get a screenshot of that. Here are our other 2 cards that we did today. So we're in the flower mood here. We've got the yellow and the fresh freesia. So this is Darling Duckling with the Darling Duckling ribbon and the fresh freesia. And then this one was Strawberry Slush with Flirty Flamingo. And then we have our little fun fold card with our round of hellos. So there we go. We got 2 cards done. And oh, it is over an hour. It's because I talk too much. All right, let me come back to you. Whoops, not there. How about that? Wrong tab. So thank you so much for joining me. I will be live again next week, Thursday. If there's something from the catalog that you're like, I'd love to see this in a card, shoot me a message or shoot me a comment like, hey, do you think you could do this? If I have it, I do not have the Boardwalk bundle because I can't get everything, right? So I do not have that bundle. So if that's something you wanted to see, I don't have that. You know what I found online? Somebody had it at our demonstrator website, and I purchased them. Let me show you. They're right here. I purchased these on Amazon, and I'm going to try them. Have you seen the Gears and Textures or Textures and Gears bundle? Somebody found a way to get those to actually move, like spin on the card. And I bought the little thing that you needed. It's this little, I don't know, here, let me flip this around, my camera around here. It's this little thing that you need. And what you do is you put the big side, I think, goes on like this card, and then the little side goes on what you want. And then when you put it on there, it will spin like the whole thing. If you take your finger, it'll spin kind of like our wobbly or whatever wobbles. So I was thinking maybe I would play with that over the weekend. And if I can get those working, maybe I'll do a card with that and show you, because that's something different. I've never used anything like this on a card. I've used wobbles, I've used Velcro, I've used a couple of different things, but I haven't used whatever these things are called. Mini something tool. Something M-E, I don't know. But they're made in China, as is a lot of things. Michelle wants me to post the link for these little things. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I could do that for sure. And I will also post the link in Facebook for this document, which is all of the online exclusives, so that if you wanted to print them and then highlight which things you have, so you don't, oh, they're spinners. Yeah, they do. I guess that would be a good name for them, Sherry. Spinners. I've used a lot of different things in card making. I just haven't used these. So I'm interested in trying them. I've even used where you can light up a card and you use copper tape and like a little battery. I've done that before a long time ago, but this is something different. So okay, so Lori's made a couple cards. I made one card and I cased it, and I don't have it sitting in here because it's one of the cards we're going to do for our card buffet, and it's sitting in my kitchen with the pile of cards for the card buffet that are in there. So yeah, I did one card that I'd done with the Gears and Textures so far, but I think that's a great card for masculine cards. So anyhow, I think it's time to go. I'm hungry. I need to eat. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again next week. Again, if there's anything that you want me to try, I'll try to use these spinners if I can get them to work. And we'll see what we can make with that. And I will see you at the same station next week at the exact same time. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.